Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning into the broadcast today. Got a real unique sermon entitled this: Never Do What You Told Not to Do. God loves you and he puts warnings in his word for a reason. He wants to keep you blessed and out of harm's way, but you have to obey what he says. Like what Jesus said, I only say what my Father says, and I only do what my Father says to do. Now, this is just part one of this sermon. You're going to be blessed. Call a friend, tell them to turn that television on, get some pencil and paper, take some notes. You're going to love this. Never do what you're told not to do. Get ready to be blessed and get some revelation from the Lord Jesus Christ. There are warnings in the Bible to help us. And if we'll accept them, actually they're signs on the roadmap of your destiny and your destination. Verse 6 of Galatians, Paul writing to the church of Galatia, he says this: let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teacheth all good things. Be careful of people that teach bad things. There are a lot of people who preach bad things. You know, poverty, that's a bad thing. Some people call it holy poverty. Let me say it to the world. That's a bad thing. You know why I know that? Because none of it's in heaven. Now, if it was a good thing, it'd be in heaven. Now, some people think gold's a bad thing. You know why gold's a good thing? It's in heaven. Let me help you ladies. You know diamonds are a good thing? Yes. Why? Because it's in heaven. Come on, somebody shout. Pearls are a good thing because there's pearls in heaven. Think about that. Isn't that a blessing of God? See? So let me read that again so you can understand that. Let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teacheth all good things. Then verse 7, be not deceived. God's not mocked. You won't mock God. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. In other words, whatsoever means spiritual, physical, or financial. Watch what you reap, sow, because what you reap, you sow, you're going to reap. You see what I'm saying? Now, once people say, what about all the bad stuff I did before I was saved? Well, that is washed away, never to be remembered against you anymore. Actually, the stuff has been tore up out of the ground. It don't even exist. And if you happen to bring up to God's mind something you did before you were saved, he has no idea what you're talking about. Because not only did he wash away your sin, he got rid of the record too. I tell all you guys that are in prison, when you got born again, see, if you get out of prison, you have a record, you know. They call you an ex-con. But buddy, when you're born again, that record ceases to function in God's wonderful eyes. Isn't that good? Now let me read that again so you'll get it. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. Now that's pretty simple. That's very easy. You sow to the flesh, you reap flesh. You sow to the Spirit, you reap life everlasting. Verse 9 is where I want to get to. He says, and let us not be weary in what? In well-doing. Why do people get weary in well-doing? For in due season, we shall what? If we what? Now, even if you faint, you're going to reap, but you're going to be passed out and not know you had it. You see what I'm saying? Let us not be weary in well-doing. Never do what you're told not to do. Why do people get weary in well-doing? Let me ask you a question. Why do you get weary tithing? Boy, I lost the feel you right there, didn't I? Whoa! Do you think tithing was put in the Bible to help you decrease? A lot of people believe that. It was put in the scripture to help you increase. Everything. God said, bring all the tithe to the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house. Prove me. Now it saith the Lord of hosts, if I not open up the windows of heaven, pour you out a blessing, there shall not be room enough to receive it. Now that's good enough as it is. But then he said, I'll rebuke the devourer for your sake. In other words, you don't have to pay attention to the devourer. In fact, you don't even have to ever rebuke the devil if you're a tither, because God does that for you. Amen. Why do people get weary in that? Why do people get weary in going to church? It's a good thing. Think about that. Why do people get weary in marriage? If you felt, well, I've fallen out of love, well, fall back in. You fell in once? Why'd you climb out? Don't shout me down when I'm preaching good. See, because you got weary. See, never do what you're told not to do. See, he told us not to get weary. People get mad at me because I don't get weary. Who do you think you are? A person that's not weary. He says, let me read it again. Let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. Now, I want you to write these points down. I just wrote them just a few minutes ago. Number one, be not weary in well-doing is a divine warning. That's a warning there. Be not weary in well-doing is a divine warning. See, I'm going to tell you something. We have warnings, then we have divine warnings. That God says, don't touch that. In the scripture, Exodus chapter 23, verses 19, 20, 21, that Jehovah angel, the Lord said, do not provoke that angel. So that's a warning, because he will not forgive your trespasses. So a lot of times we miss the warnings in the Bible. This is a divine warning. Let us not be weary in well. Thank God Jesus never got weary in washing away your sin. He's never got weary in praying for you and believing God for you. He's always put you first. Have you? Have you always put him first? He always puts you first. Nothing is more important to God than you. Think about that for a minute. So be not weary in well-doing is a divine warning. Write this down. The weary mood is never far from us. It's never far from us. It must be watched or it will overtake us. The weary mood is never far from us. It must be watched or it will overtake us. See, a lot of times we get to think about this thing is not worth. Well, you don't understand the rest of the verse, the due season. We'll get to that in just a minute. You got to understand the difference between God's time and your time. See, he's not, a delay is not a denial. You see what I'm saying? When he said, whatsoever you shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If you shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. You know, children will ask you anything, but they can't receive what they're asking. I mean, a child can ask for a motorcycle at 3 years old. He can't drive it, but he can ask for it. Drive you nuts if you don't get it. Now, you know, but if you train that boy, he could become a motorcycle champion by the time he's 16 years old. It's not that you're delaying, that you're not going to answer him. It's just not the time. But he's put a seed in your mind that one day you'll get him a motorcycle. Think about that. My mama used to call them motorcycles. She said, I don't want you riding motorcycles. I said, I'm not. I'm going to ride a motorcycle, Mama. She didn't like motorcycles. She always worried about us getting hurt. I said, Mama, if you quit worrying about us getting hurt, we'll quit getting hurt. Sometimes you'll set a path for your children to hurt them, and you don't even realize what you're doing. So write this down again so you'll understand that. Be not weary in well-doing is a divine warning, and the weary mood is never far from us. It must be watched or it will overtake you. When the Bible said the blessings of God should overtake you, not the weariness of it. I've had many opportunities to fail. You've heard me say that many times. I just don't take any. Sometimes I get weary traveling, but that doesn't stop me from traveling. Sometimes I get weary with foolish, stupid people. Let me just say it to the whole world. Foolish, stupid people. You can call me foolish, stupid too. But I'm going to tell you what, some people, I tell them what the word said. Well, I know it said that. No, you don't know it said that. That's why you arguing with God over what he said. See, that's foolishness. That's ignorance going to seed. Heal is not for today. You done lost your ever-loving mind? You know how many sick people that needs to be healed? Prosperity is of the devil. It is. Why did God give it to you? Thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth. See, the reason why people fight that is because they got weary. Have you ever thought in your mind you've given enough? Oh, let me make everybody mad. You never give enough. Let me say it real strong. You never give enough. And you never receive enough. Let me say it again. You never give enough and you never receive enough. You're going to be receiving for eternity when you get to heaven, and you ought to be receiving right now. Do you think the laws of sowing and reaping shuts down when you go to heaven? As long as the earth remains, seed time, harvest time. But now you're going into a new world, maybe another galaxy. I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. You're going to always receive, and you're going to always give. Because God's word never changes, see? The weary mood is never far from us. It must be watched or it will overtake you. Now, when I just said that, took courage to say that, because I'm going to get some ugly things with that. Yeah. What do you mean giving up? See, you don't have enough courage to give enough. You see, there is courage. You write this down. There is courage. There is a courage of decision. When you make a decision, it takes courage to do that. But it takes a higher courage of continuance. I made up my mind that you cannot offend me. I didn't say you couldn't hurt my feelings. You've heard me say it before. But I refuse to be offended. It takes great courage not to be offended, because you have the higher courage of it must be continual. Even though people are rude and mean and ugly, say terrible things about you. You know what I'm saying? And nobody likes that, but you know what? I made a courage. That courage is in my decision to love them even though they hate me. And to continue in that courage. I am the king of the forest. Remember the cowardly lion cat that preached on that? You know, courage, courage. See, it does take courage. The Bible says be bold as a lion. I mean, would you freak out if you was on the jungle and you saw this, in the jungle, and you saw this big lion and he'd look at you and go, oh, No, that boy will stand up and look at you and he thinks, dinner. Isn't that amazing? So there is a courage of decision, but it takes a higher courage of continuance in that decision. I made up my mind no matter what they say. Boy, and they say a lot. And since social media came in, people just like to say stuff, don't they? I mean, they just say anything, you know. But there's something I found out about that I love about social media. It's called block them. I didn't quite know what that was until Saudi didn't show me how to do it, but I said, block them. She said, well, we want to do it, block them. I ain't got time to hear foolishness. I don't spend my mind listening to the stupid things. There's some people, the spirit of stupid is prevalent on them. Ooh, I'm making you mad now. Don't get weary. Like one lady told me one time, I want God to heal my cancer. I'll keep the diabetes. She literally said that because she figured she could manage diabetes and live with it, but she couldn't live with cancer. You done lost your mind? Isn't that insane? Yet people sometimes believe that kind of stuff. Well, take what God gave you. He didn't give you diabetes. He didn't give you sickness and disease. How do I know that? Adam and Eve, they didn't have it. He didn't give you sin. You see what I'm saying? So when you understand that there's a higher courage in a decision, but and in a continuance of doing what God says. So when I thought about that, block them. You know what I do? So I just block them. I block the devil too. He'll come into my mind. I gotta block you. He go. He don't come up on my Facebook, if you want to call it as such. I just block him. You see what I'm saying? In every area. I've had many times he's wanted me to notice him. I just don't notice him. Sometimes he's, please notice me. No, I won't do that. See, you got to understand, Satan's in church today. Satan never misses church. Do you? Don't get mad. The most loyal person to church is Satan, because he knows this is the place where he gets defeated. So if he can get in here and listen to what somebody's saying, he might be able to come up with something to shut you down. And you'd be surprised how many good ideas he gets from the church. Don't shout me down when I'm preaching good. Healing not for the day. Oh, Satan says, isn't that wonderful? We don't have to work hard today. We just make them sick as a dog. Prosperity is of the devil. Ooh, we can keep their money. My Lord. You can't get your family saved. You know how bad your uncle is? Oh, we can send him to hell too. Oh, isn't that amazing? My Lord. When the church ought to be the happiest place, the most shoutingest place, the most answered place you've ever seen in your entire life. Because the Bible said the gates of hell are not prevail against it. My God, isn't that something? So don't let your goodness become badness. Your beauty become deformity. You see, don't let your goodness become badness or your beauty become deformity. That's what he said, let us not be weary in well-doing. I've had a lot of people say, I even had my tax attorney, a CPA one time, not my tax attorney. He said, you give too much, Brother Jesse. I looked at him and I thought, my God, why am I paying this person? He said, because it won't help you anymore. Oh, God. He said, it ain't going to help you on taxes. And he didn't even understand the reason why I was giving was not to help me on my taxes. My giving was to be receiving. You see what I'm saying? So I had to straighten him out. How'd you do that? I fired him. I don't want doubt and unbelief around me. I will not have it. I will not do that. He didn't understand. He's thinking all I'm doing is giving that so I can get a better deduction. You see what I'm saying? No, I'm giving that. Given it shall be given unto you. Oh, okay. Good measure. Pressed down, shaking together, running over, shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure you meet withal, it shall be measured to you. Yeah. As long as the earth remains, be seed time and harvest time. Some 30, some 60, some 100-fold. Oh, Lord. My God. So much. See, let me say it again. You never give enough. And let me help you. You never receive enough. Because there's always somebody that needs. See, you've got to receive. You never receive enough. Because you see, there's some people can't even get to the point of that, so you got to help them. They got to eat out of your basket. And you have to teach them to produce their basket. So let me say it again. Don't let your goodness become darkness or badness, or your beauty become deformity. I'll never forget one time in this church right here, when we dedicated this building to the Lord, this building. There was a preacher that came here that hurt me desperately in the beginning of my ministry, really bad. I mean, did some god-awful things. I mean, whoo, Lord. Well, when I saw him, I hadn't seen him in a while. A friend of mine said, buddy, you can bust his chops now. I said, no, I'm not going to let my beauty become deformity. I honored him. I had him stand up and say a word. I honored him. Why? Because I already had forgiven him. Problem was my friend hadn't. You see what I'm saying? Not that I was better, but I refused to let my goodness become badness. And to tell you the truth, it really wasn't him. It was the devil that was motivating him. See, principalities work through personalities. Sister so-and-so is not the devil. She may act like the devil. She may even look like the devil. But she's not the devil. No one has ever been as bad as the devil. That includes serial killers. You can't understand how bad devil is. It's so bad that it's beyond human comprehension. But the love of God is so good that it's beyond human comprehension. So let us not be weary in well-doing. So I like being a blessing. I like tipping people when I go out and eat. Usually my tips cost more than the meals. Kathy says that all the time. You know, you tip more than the whole meal cost. Yeah, but it brings blessing. Now, most people think, well, why? Well, no, I can't. No, and I'll never stop it. I never have stopped it. I don't do that. Why? Because I don't get weary in well-doing. That's a see, so many people need to make a living. You know, they work hard. See what I'm saying? And now, I've had some bad waiters. And I said, let me give you a tip. Beauty school. Because this job, you can't do this. But I still tip them. I'm going to help you, but you're going to starve to death if you don't learn how to serve people. You see what I'm saying? See, people don't understand that when you do wonderful things. They say, well, don't you get tired of that? I have Christmas every day. I like Christmas every day. I enjoy that. I like smiling better than I do frowning. I have many things to frown about, but I have way more things to smile about. Why? Because you see, my smiles come from God. And it takes more muscles to smile than it does to frown. Satan likes you to frown a little bit if you can. Why? Because then something's wrong. I made up my mind. I said, no, I know in whom I have believed, and I'm persuaded that he's able to keep what I commit to him. What did you commit to him, Brother Jesse? Me. Spirit, soul, body, everything. You know, let me tell you something. I know without a shadow of a doubt that God's word is true. Listening to him is the key to my success and yours also. When he warns us, it's to protect us and keep us on the right road to our destiny. I've said this so many times. If you don't know where you're going, you're not going to know when you get there. Listen, we all get tired, but don't let the devil steal your faith. Harvest is coming, so don't give up. My God, I'm telling you, I don't give up on nothing. I'm like a pit bull. When I bite down on something, you got to beat me in the head with a stick for me to turn loose of it. Well, bless God, when I'm believing God, ain't no devil in hell's going to shut me down on what I'm believing. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I mean. I have the courage to just continue. Having done all the stand therefore. That's what I do. And you know, and the devil will use people who that are religious, that love the Lord. They'll say, you know, maybe you're pushing it. No, you are believing for something. You standing on something. You want something to happen. So don't quit. And that's what I'm saying. Don't let your goodness become badness. Don't let your beauty become deformity. Think about that for a minute. Is that amazing? My Lord. I mean, why would you let your goodness become badness or your beauty become deformity? When Jesus said, let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we reap if we faint not. There's something inside of us called the Holy Spirit. He's our divine partner who works with us and in us. Do you understand that? There is so much revelation in this sermon. We have something called total JDM. Let me just say this. You need to listen to this thing in its entirety without any breaks. That's why you need to go right to totaljdm.org, where you can watch it in its entirety. It's a total JDM exclusive message. And thanks to our partners, you can watch it for free. Years ago, we had to charge, but our partners, oh, my, thank you, partners, for being so kind. Now we're able to offer all this free, and you can watch as many as you want. Never do what you're told not to do. It's just one of about 400 messages that are available at Total JDM. So be sure to check it out today, and you'll be blessed. Can I pray for you right now, Father? I ask you to save people all over the world. Lord, I need another brother and another sister in the Lord. I believe, all they got to do is believe with their heart and confess with their mouth that you rose from the dead. Thank you for doing this now, Lord. Thank you for saving people, healing people, and helping people. In Jesus' name we pray. You prayed that prayer with us? Guess what? It's so simple, yet it changed your life for eternity. Oh, I'll get to meet you. If I don't meet you here, I'll meet you in heaven. We're going to have a good time. Now, don't go anywhere. I have more to share with you right after this. I want to show you a few things happening at JDM, and I'll be back in just a moment. Watch, be blessed.
There's a world that needs to be saved. Our mission is to preach the gospel of Jesus to that world. That is why we here at Duplantis Ministries believe the unbelievable and operate in the impossible. God is continuing to direct us to expand our outreach to more people in more places and through more ways than ever before. We are advancing into the frontiers of ministry to change more lives through one simple question. Do you know Jesus? Listen to me. It is beginning. The light of Jesus is shining higher and brighter and further than ever. People from all over are responding to the message of Jesus. Nothing can stop the light of God's love from reaching people and changing lives.
Join us for Kathy Duplantis' 20th Annual Women's Conference.
I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me.
We're so excited to have Kathy's first guest speaker return, Taffy Dollar.
Jesus already set you free. Hallelujah.
Glorious 2020, October 2nd and 3rd at Jesse Duplantis Ministries International Headquarters. Registration and admission are free.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kathy's Glorious Women's Conference is here. I hope you can join us. It's this Friday, October the 2nd at 7 p.m. and this Saturday, October the 3rd at 9 a.m. This year's conference is going to be the best yet. Why? It's Kathy's 20th anniversary of these conferences for women. And a lot of men come to it too. Boy, it's a blessing. If you can't join us here at JDM International Headquarters in Destrehan, which is a suburb of New Orleans, Louisiana, you can be a part of this life-changing celebration online on jdm.org. That's where we are, Facebook and YouTube. And as always, registration and admission are absolutely free. Isn't that nice? Just go to jdm.org for all the information. Thank you, partners, for all you do for this ministry. Your faithful financial support is so greatly appreciated. I've said it thousands of times. You've heard me say it. Every dollar you give to this ministry goes into world evangelism. We're totally debt-free. We owe nobody nothing but to love them. God has been good and gracious. We don't borrow money, don't do any of that because of you. God has been so gracious to you and gracious to us. If you're not a partner, you pray about becoming one. I'm telling you, the anointing of increase is on me. And I tell it to people, it's on me. Don't get mad at me. It ain't my fault. Well, how do you get it on you? Well, I remember all the wonderful thing God does for me. Thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to give you wealth. And wealth is something we can use to preach the gospel all over the world. So thank you for being a partner. And me and Kathy are partners too. Also for your October partnership, you can get my message. Listen to this, the power of success. This message will revolutionize your life. You need to get this, so just go to jdm.org for all the ordering information, okay? And you'll be blessed. As I said before, partners, we couldn't do it without you. Jesus immediately chose 12 people on his staff, and he had partners too. What a blessing. They ministered to them. We take everything you send, and we get people saved. Reaching people, changing lives, one soul at a time. That's what we do. Nothing too small and nothing too big. In fact, the ministry is growing so much, Lord, gee, we're going to have to build another studio so Kathy can do production as while I'm doing production. God is so good and gracious. We're believing God to pay cash for it all. It's about $1 million, maybe a little over, something like that, but that's all right. You're going to help me. I'm going to help me. God's going to help me. See, we never ask you to do something that me and Kathy don't do. If we ask you to give, me and Kathy are the first givers and the biggest givers to this ministry, and that's a fact. God has been so good and gracious. So thank you, partners, for helping me to touch people. Whew, and I want the anointing of an increase that's on me to come on you. And it will. I'm believing God for that. I'm standing on the word. Now, next week, part 2 of never do what you're told not to do. Don't miss it, because you're going to miss something good. This is Jesse Duplantis from New Orleans saying, I love you. I really do. There's never a day without prayer that we don't pray for you. Okay? Bye-bye.
Jesse Duplantis Ministries is reaching people and changing lives one soul at a time more than ever before online. JDM is continuing to provide new faith-based content meant to strengthen your relationship with God. You can find weekly messages from Jesse and Kathy on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and more. So like us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and stay connected to all the exciting things happening at Jesse Duplantis Ministries.
We have a divine partner working with us and in us. I guess the reason why I don't struggle much in my life in terms of depression or discouragement or despondency is because I have a partner working with me. I'm in partnership with the Holy Ghost. And not only in me, in us, but on us. He's working with us and in us.